Dom Pascal, Chief Wallace Boden's replacement in Chicago Fire Season 13, instantly rubs Firehouse 51 the wrong way, and there's a good reason for it. In the Season 12 premiere of Chicago Fire, Eammon Walker departed the team. Firehouse 51 had already lost Blake Gallo and Sylvie, two important team members, at that point. Nevertheless, given the influence Boden has had on the program, Chicago Fire suffered its greatest loss with his departure. Fortunately for the character, though, Boden's departure from Firehouse 51 for a larger position in the CFD resulted in a happy ending. To be fair, it would be challenging for any successor to Chief Boden at Firehouse 51 to uphold his legacy. He was not only a capable and moral boss, but Kelly Severide and the crew all adored him. Therefore, the Engine 81 lieutenant would still have difficulties even if his plot to install Christopher Herman as his successor were to succeed. It would be an understatement to suggest that Dom Pascal, played by Dermot Mulroney, has his job cut out for him in light of this. Unfortunately, it doesn't help that he seems to purposefully rile up the group with his temperament. The main goal of Monster in the Field, the Season 13 opener of Chicago Fire, was to install Pascal as Firehouse 51's new chief. Though not much is known about him, the outing provides important details about the new character and sows the narrative seeds for his fascinating past. It turns out that although Pascal began his firefighting career in Chicago, he has lived in Miami for the past several years. Relocating to the Windy City helped him work through his marital problems. But whatever his private life, one thing is certain: he is not Chief Boden. Pascal appears determined to create a stir right away, even if the group is attempting to embrace him as their new leader. There is needless insinuation in his first exchange with Herman. Pascal ends his shift by proposing a rule prohibiting mobile phone use during team meals, stating that this will help the group, despite being together for years, to become closer. Additionally, he has his lieutenants provide their reports verbally. Not only that, but Severide was forewarned not to collaborate with his spouse, Stella Kidd. To sum up, Pascal is unnecessarily being aggressive in Chicago Fire Season 13. Granted that he wants to separate himself from Chief Boden, but he could have done this more gracefully. It would have been much easier for him to do that. However, even though Pascal has no justification for acting in this manner, Boden's new role and the way Chicago Fire Season 13 writes its tales will be affected by Pascal's heinous actions. Boden's influence inside the CFD increased dramatically when he emerged victorious in the election and assumed the position of deputy commissioner. Even though he was previously well known within the company, he now genuinely has the ability to implement significant changes. Since everyone knows that Boden has their back, Severide and the others are partly shielded from political attacks because Firehouse 51 is known for holding a particular place in his heart. Due to the present state of Chicago Fire, they are unable to continue one of the show's most popular recurrent stories. The authors must now come up with a fresh source of drama in light of this. They look to Pascal to bring it in, as they can't rely on outside conflict to provide it, and any sort of internal strife between seasoned group members is weak and a worn cliché, since they will eventually work things out. Though it may seem wonderful to believe that Boden's replacement will go in and win everyone over right away, the drama that Chicago Fire relies on in its storytelling makes this unlikely. The author's long-term goals for Mulroney will determine whether Pascal and Firehouse 51 get along. What type of deal he signed to join Dick Wolf's One Chicago brand remains unknown. It's reasonable to say that he and the team will eventually come to an understanding if he is indeed going to be Boden's long-term replacement. Pascal's time with Chicago Fire will terminate sooner rather than later if that isn't the case. Maybe they want to exploit that story opportunity to ultimately establish Herman as the new battalion chief for the house.